Let's find our comfortable sitting position. Build a little bit of focus and concentration for early morning practice. Maybe taking note immediately if anything in the body feels a little bit stiff or unusual. Having a little bit of a wiggle as we come to our right position. You can let the hands fall wherever they wish, makes no difference at all. And if you find partway through the exercise that something's uncomfortable or that you need to move or you feel restless, feel free to move. It's not the end of the world. We'll take an inhale and lift up, growing through the spine as much as possible. And on the exhale, we can tuck the chin ever so slightly towards the chest, maybe closing the eyes. Take another deep inhale. And exhale to prepare for a little bit of attention building. And from here on in, bring all the attention to your own breathing pattern. It doesn't matter what it is, or how long or short the breaths are. It's just something to focus on, to bring us into the space. Let's take one more inhale. And one more exhale. Let's blink the eyes open. Cool. Let's maybe get a little bit of movement into the hands and the fingers, just giving them a little bit of a wiggle wherever they're sitting. And then maybe lifting the arms out in front and spraying the fingers out and pulling them back in. That can get pretty tiring pretty quickly. And then maybe giving the arms a little bit of a sway, opening out through the sides of the body, finding the bits that are a little bit stiff or unhappy this morning. And then let's stretch the arms out in front, interlace the fingers together, and then flip them upside down. And maybe start to curve the spine a little bit, maybe dropping the head. You could take it a little bit from one side to another if you wish. And then let's lift the arms up overhead. Same thing, growing super tall, trying to get a little bit of movement in. And then let's release it all back out to the side. Cool. Let's drop the hands onto the mat. Let's swing the legs around to come to our tabletop position. We'll play around with our cat-cows a little bit. So finding a spot that feels as comfortable as it can feel, maybe stacking the shoulders over the wrists. And take a big breath in, lifting the head up, dropping the belly down to get that curve in the spine. And exhale in the opposite direction, rounding the spine, dropping the head a little bit. Inhale to lift the head up and drop the belly down. And exhale, opposite direction, rounding the spine, dropping the head. Take one more little rotation here. Inhale the head up, dropping the belly down. And on the exhale, let's bring it all back towards our central neutral position. We're going to separate the fingers out nice and wide so we can really push down into the knuckles of the hands. And then we're going to get straight into it, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling for our first downward dog. You can keep the knees bent for as long as you wish. It's totally up to you. Try to find a place where you can gain a little bit of extra comfort here. Maybe you can start to pedal the feet if you fancy it. But if you want to keep those knees bent, that's fine by me. Think about lifting the hips a little bit higher, and that might help to add a little bit of comfort a bit faster. And if there's something you notice here that feels a little bit tingly or weird, feel free to do any additional moves that you need to try and get into it. Make it a little bit stronger and a little bit nicer. Take one more inhale, lifting the hips. And on the exhale, let's bend the knees and look forward. Inhale, step the right foot forward and the left foot forward. Let's grab hold of our opposite elbows, take a little sway one side to another. And then let's bring it back to center. Let the arms hang towards the feet. You can have a little bend in the knees if you wish. Take a breath in. And an exhale. And on the next inhale, let's start to roll the spine upward, vertebra by vertebra, until we're completely straightened back up, shoulders, neck, and head. And let's take our Surya Namaskara A. Take a breath in, arms up overhead, look up. And exhale, fold the hands back down towards the floor, bending the knees as much as you need to. Let's inhale, straighten the backs of the legs for our halfway lift, maybe reaching the fingertips to the mat. And exhale, let's plant the hands. Step the right foot back and the left foot back to our plank. And let's lower it down. Knees first is fine, tucking the elbows in. Inhale forward to our cobra, really dropping the shoulders from the ears, finding a little bit of extra strength, pushing the tops of the feet into the floor. And exhale, let's tuck the toes, lift the hips back up, downward dog. Same thing goes, it still might not be too comfortable. Have a look at the hands, pushing down into the knuckles, maybe keeping the knees bent, still fine by me. And if you want to, pedal the feet or take any extra movements you might need to. Breathe in and exhale. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, let's bend the knees and look forward. Inhale, step the right foot forward and the left foot forward. Let's bring it to our halfway lift, reaching the fingers towards the floor or resting them on the shins if you wish. And exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands on the mat. Inhale, let's straighten the legs, reach the arms up overhead, gaze up. And exhale, back to standing, to our mountain pose. Second time around, let's breathe in, lift the arms up overhead, look up. And exhale, fold the hands down to the mat, bending the knees. Inhale to the fingertips, lengthen the backs of the legs. And exhale, plant the hands, step or jump it back to our plank. And let's lower it down, your choice of how. Let's inhale forward to our cobra or upward dog. And exhale, let's tuck the toes, lift the hips back up, downward dog. Same thing goes, totally up to you, how much you want to go for here, how straight you want to keep the legs, whether you're pedaling the feet. Give yourself a little bit of time and a little bit of space to find the best position possible. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, let's bend the knees and look forward. Inhale, step or jump it to the top of the mat. Lengthen through the backs of the legs. Reach the fingertips towards the floor for halfway lift. And exhale, plant the hands, bend the knees. Inhale, let's straighten the legs. Reach the arms up overhead, gaze up. And exhale, back to standing, mountain pose. Surya Namaskara B. Let's take a breath in, reach the arms up overhead and sit back into our chair. And exhale, fold the hands down to the mat, bend the knees. Inhale to the fingertips, lengthen the backs of the legs. And exhale, plant the hands, step or jump it back to our plank. And let's lower it down. Inhale forward to our cobra, dropping the feet right into the mat. And exhale, let's tuck the toes, lift the hips back up, downward dog. Let's inhale the right foot forward between the hands. Drop the left heel down, stretch the arms up overhead for our warrior one. And exhale the hands back to the mat. Step the right foot back to our plank and let's lower it down. Inhale forward to our upward dog or cobra. And exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips back up, downward dog. Let's inhale that left foot forward between the hands. Drop the right heel down, stretch the arms up overhead, warrior one. And exhale the hands back to the mat. Step the left foot back to our plank and let's lower it down. Inhale forward to our cobra or upward dog. And exhale, let's tuck the toes, lift the hips back up, downward dog. Everything should feel a little bit warmer now. Maybe the breathing rate's gone up and the heart rate's gone up. Maybe you've started to work out some of the little morning kinks and niggles in the body. If you still need to bend the knees or wiggle through the feet or anything like that, that's still fine. You can do it for as long as you want to. Breathe in and exhale. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, let's bend the knees and look forward. Inhale, step or jump it to the top of the mat. Let's lengthen through the backs of the legs, reach those fingertips towards the floor. And exhale, let's bend the knees, plant the hands. Inhale, let's swoop the arms up overhead, sitting back into our chair, Utkatasana. And let's exhale back to standing. Amazing, well done. Never easy early in the morning. Let's keep the right foot pointed forward, and we're going to step the left foot back behind us. So we're getting ready for our warrior one again. So we're pointing that left foot in at about 45 degrees. You can bring the hands to the hips. Usually the instruction here is to square the hips forward, but not everyone's hips do that. So it's totally up to you if you want to circle things forward a little bit and then take a breath in, reach the arms up overhead. And on the exhale, bending over the right leg to come in for our fully aligned warrior one. Breathe in to grow a little taller. And exhale, drop the shoulders from the ears, maybe bending over that front leg a little more. Breathe in. And on the exhale, let's float the right hand forward and the left arm back. Inhale back to center, reaching both arms tall. And exhale the left arm forward and the right arm back. Inhale it all back to center. We're going to straighten that right leg. We're going to open the torso out to the side a little bit to get ready for our Trikonasana. So you might need to wiggle the left foot back a little bit if you've gone very narrow. And then on a breath in, we're going to stretch the right hand forward as far as we can. And on the exhale, let's fold that right hand down towards the floor, left arm up towards the ceiling. You can look up towards the ceiling, sort of following the trajectory of the chest upward. But if you find that it throws you off balance, just look down towards the floor instead. It doesn't matter. The trick here is not to get too bogged down in reaching that lower hand to the floor. If you reach the lower hand to the floor too much, you're going to kind of curve over with the hip. So feel free to lift the arm, opening the chest towards the ceiling as much as possible. Inhale. And exhale. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, let's look down towards the right foot. Let's breathe in, lifting the arms back to their parallel position. And then let's bring the hands back towards the hips. We're going to move the hips forward a little bit so that we're looking ahead. And we're going to shuffle the left foot in a little bit so that our feet are about a pace apart. Sort of like if you were walking to the shop. It doesn't need to be a wide pace. We're going to come in for a big forward fold. So it's up to you. You can keep hands on hips. If you want to bring the arms behind you and interlace the fingers together, you can. If you've got reverse prayer, feel free to go for reverse prayer. Take a big breath in, lengthen through the spine. And on the exhale, let's fold the torso forward and down, really surrendering everything forward as far as we can. Have a think about maybe pulling the right hip back and pushing the left hip forward, which might accelerate the stretch a little bit. You might even find you've gone too far and you might have to dial it back. That's fine. Take a big inhale and do nothing with it, but maybe use the exhale to go a little further if you've got space. If you don't have space, cool, doesn't matter. Breathe in and exhale. Take one more inhale, one more exhale. And on the breath in, let's start to lift the torso back upright, releasing the hands back to the hips. And let's step the left foot forward to join the right. Release the hands, maybe give the legs a bit of a wiggle. And let's take the same thing on the opposite side. So we're going to keep that left foot pointed forward. We're going to step the right foot out behind us to get ready for our full warrior one. So maybe the right foot's at about a 45-degree angle. Bring the hands to the hips. If you've got the space, feel free to circle them forward. If it feels weird, don't bother. Take a breath in, reach the arms up overhead, grow as tall as possible. And exhale, bend over that left knee, warrior one. Inhale. And exhale, maybe dropping the shoulders from the ears, bending over the knee a little more. Take one more breath in. And on the exhale, let's float the left arm forward and the right arm back. Breathe in, bring the arms back to center. And exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale it all back to center again. Exhale. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, let's start to straighten that left leg. Let's bring the hands towards the hips and let's get ready for our Trikonasana. So we're opening the torso out to the side, bringing the arms to parallel. If you find that your right leg feels a bit funny, maybe feel free to walk it out a little bit further. Your triangle might usually be a bit longer. Inhale and reach that left arm forward. And exhale, fold the left hand down towards the floor, right arm up towards the ceiling. Take a second or two to get the alignment right so that you feel happy and satisfied. Maybe every inhale doing nothing except lifting towards the ceiling, and use the exhale to turn the chest a little bit further up. Breathe in and exhale. These look really nice. You've got those shoulders really well stacked, both of you. Breathe in. And on the exhale, let's look down towards the left foot. Let's inhale to bring the arms back to our parallel position and bring them back to the hips for a second. We're going to step the right foot forward a little bit so that there's only a bit of pace between the feet. I don't want to hit myself on my cupboards. So it's not an absolutely huge step. We're going to take a big inhale, lengthen through the spine. Whatever arm variation you took on the first side, take it here as well. So if you had the hands behind you, go for it. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, let's fold the torso forward and down. Same forward fold as before. Maybe think about pulling the left hip back and pushing the right hip forward. If it causes discomfort or pain, just don't bother. Breathe in. And use the exhale to drop a little bit further if you've got space for it. And if you don't have space for it, use the breathing to get through the intensity of the stretch. Inhale and exhale. Take one more breath in. One last exhale. And on the next inhale, let's lift the torso back upright. We can release the hands back to the hips, and we'll step the right foot forward to join the left. Maybe give everything a little bit of a wiggle. Cool. Let's step the right leg out beside us and turn the left foot in so that the legs are at a parallel position. We're going to take our prasarita, our forward fold. So you can kind of pigeon toe the toes in a little bit so that the big toes are pointing slightly towards one another. We'll bring the hands to the hips, take an inhale, grow super tall. And on the exhale, let's fold the torso forward and down towards the mat. Once you've gotten to about a 90-degree angle, maybe you can reach the hands towards the floor. And with the hands close to the floor, maybe you can widen the stance a little bit if you fancy it. You can drop the hands right down onto the mat as far as they'll go. Take a breath in. And on the exhale, maybe walking the hands backwards on the mat so that the heels of the hands come in line with the heels of the feet. And pushing into all four, both hands and both feet. Breathing in. And exhaling, maybe dropping a little bit further. If at any point you just need a rest or some relaxation, feel free to bend the knees. It doesn't matter if they're bent or not. Take a breath in. And an exhale. Take one more inhale. Let's start to lift the torso upright. Let's exhale, tucking the chin towards the chest, bringing the hands towards the hips. And let's breathe in to lift everything upright. Take your time. Let's shuffle the legs back in towards one another, not the whole way, just a little bit of the way. And we're going to point the toes out towards the sides of the mat. Take a big inhale. And on the exhale, let's bend the knees. So we're opening out through the front of the groin in goddess pose. This might take a couple of seconds to just get right. We're thinking about opening the knees out as wide as we possibly can, keeping the torso straight, tucking the ribs, Tucking the tailbone at the back. So we've got this super straight column and then this spread of the legs and the knees opening out to the side. It's up to you how far you want to go down. But once you're satisfied you've got a good position, maybe pick an arm position, maybe cactus arms. You could do eagle arms at the front if you fancy it. Totally up to you what you choose. You could even go with the prayer pose. But constantly thinking about opening out through the knees as much as possible. Take a breath in. And an exhale. On the next inhale, let's straighten the legs, maybe give it a few seconds. Let's release the hands back down and we're going to come for our Malasana or Yogi squat. So we've done this before. It depends on each person. If you need to wiggle the feet further apart, go for it. Take a big inhale. And on the exhale, let's start to get ready. Sitting low into our squat. Moving around as much as you need to, finding the alignment that suits you best. And once we've gotten there, maybe pushing the elbows against the knees, prayer to the center of the chest, thinking about lengthening through the spine, growing super tall. Looks amazing. Inhale. And exhale. Take one more breath in. And on the exhale, let's release the hands down towards the floor and use the hands against the floor to help you straighten with the legs, make life a little bit easier for them. Bring the hands to the hips, tuck the chin towards the chest. And on an inhale, let's lift everything upright. And then let's step it back forward to the top of the mat and we'll get ready for a little balance. I'm going to stand a little bit in the middle so that everyone can see. So we're not going to take our tree pose. We're going to take little leg balances instead. We've done these before. So we're going to inhale, lift the right leg off the floor, making sure that the left leg feels pretty safe and pretty secure. And then lift that right leg in towards the chest. Maybe wrap the hands around the leg for a second just to find the balance. Take a breath in. And maybe on the exhale, you can release the left hand out to the side. So you're just holding on with the right hand. If you've got space, you can reach down inside the leg, grab hold of the big toe and straighten the leg out in front of you. It's not my favorite thing to do early in the morning, but if you've got space, feel free. Breathe in. And on the exhale, we're going to open the hip out to the side. So we're really challenging the balance as much as possible. Inhale. And exhale, still keeping the torso super straight and strong. And maybe you can look out over the left shoulder towards that left hand. Breathe in. And on the exhale, let's drag that leg back towards the center. Let's bring the hands to the hips with the leg still in front. Let's extend the leg out in front of us. Inhale. And exhale. Have a think about the body. There's a chance that you've started to tip back in order to lift the leg. Tip forward instead. Keep that column of the body super strong and straight in the middle. Tuck in the ribs and the tailbone. Breathe in to lift the foot a little further. And on the exhale, let's lower it down. Shake the legs, release the hands. Well done. And let's take same thing other side. So lifting the left leg up and away. Confident that the right leg feels pretty strong. Maybe you can interlace the fingers around that left leg, find the balance. And when you're ready, you can release the right hand out to the side. If you want to go with the full variation of toe and peace fingers together with the leg extended, that's fine. Breathe in. On the exhale, maybe opening that left leg to the side, challenging the hips. Still keeping the center of the body really strong, tucking the ribs and the tailbone, breathe in. Maybe even looking out over the right shoulder towards the right hand. It very much depends on the balance. Inhale. And on the exhale, let's bring the leg back to center. Let's bring the hands to the hips. Let's extend the left leg in front. Breathe in. And exhale, same thing here. Instead of tipping backwards, think about keeping the spine straight and long. Inhale to lift the leg. And exhale. Take one last inhale. And on the exhale, let's release the left leg down, release the hands, give everything a little bit of a shake. And then let's make sure we've got lots of space behind us. Let's inhale the arms up overhead, gaze up. And exhale, fold the hands down to the floor. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Breathe in, let's lengthen the backs of the legs. And exhale, let's plant the hands, step or jump it back to our plank, and let's lower it down. Inhale forward to our cobra or upward dog. And exhale, let's tuck the toes, lift the hips back up, downward dog. Take one breath in here. And on the exhale, let's come forward to sitting any way you choose. And we're going to pop both legs out in front. So we did some forward folds from standing, but we didn't do the version of Paschimottanasana from standing. So you might find today that it feels a little bit stiffer than normal. That's fine. Take a breath in, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, get used to the idea. And on the next inhale, let's lift the arms up overhead, really tall. And exhale to fold everything forwards and down, maybe reaching the peace fingers towards the big toes. If you can get there. If you can't get there, hang on anywhere on the legs, totally fine. Wherever you're hanging on to, take a breath in and use the exhale to maybe push a little bit further forward, still dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe thinking about tilting the pelvic floor forward to help your journey down, and feeling free to stop wherever you want to. Breathe in and exhale. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, let's release the fingers from the toes. Let's inhale the arms up overhead. And let's exhale out towards the side. Give everything a little bit of a wiggle, especially the shoulders if you reached really far forward. And then we're going to pull the right leg in towards the chest. And we're going to support it with the left arm. So hold it in as tight as we possibly can. Let's drop the right arm behind us onto the mat. Give yourself a few seconds. Find a comfortable version of this. So we're pointing the left toes still towards the ceiling, and it's up to you. If you want to keep holding the right leg like this, you can. If you want to, you can hook the right elbow around the outside, or the left elbow around the outside of the right knee. Totally up to you which variation you pick. Take a big breath in. And on the exhale, twisting the torso around a little bit, maybe looking out over the right shoulder if you like that. This is quite a big twist, especially early in the morning. Marichyasana C. Breathe in and exhale. Much easier to twist on an exhale than an inhale. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, let's start to revolve it back towards the front, still supporting that leg. And then let's drop the leg out to the side to come for our Janu. So we're going to push the right foot against the inner thigh of the left leg. We're going to take a breath in, reach the arms up overhead, twist a little bit to the left, and let's fold forward over that left foot. Breathe in and use the exhale to maybe go a little bit deeper, drawing the gaze up the leg as you get further down. If you don't have space to go deeper, that's absolutely fine. This is a forward fold. It doesn't matter how foldy the forward is. Breathe in and exhale. And on the next inhale, let's release the hands, lift them up towards the ceiling, and exhale them all back down. And once they're down, let's pop that right leg out in front. So same thing, left-hand side. Let's pull that left hand in towards the chest. We're going to support it with the right hand as we draw the left arm behind us, flattening the hand on the mat. It's up to you. If you want to just support the leg, you can. If you want to, you can hook the elbow around the outside of the left knee. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, twist a little bit further, looking out over that left shoulder. Think about the right toes. Make sure they're still pointing up towards the ceiling. Breathe in and exhale. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, let's bring it all back towards the center, still supporting this left leg. And then let's drop the left leg out to the side. Let's roll the sole of the foot against the inside of the thigh. And let's take a breath in, arms up overhead. Let's twist to the right and fold forward over that right foot. Same thing goes. You don't need to reach the foot. Maybe you could reach the foot with one hand. That's all fine. It depends on how far you want to go, what kind of a challenge you want, or whether you want something more relaxed. Feel free to hang on to the right leg and not push it too far if you don't want to. Inhale and exhale. Take one more breath in, one more breath out. And on the next inhale, let's release the hands. Let's lift them up overhead. And let's exhale them out to the side. And once they're down, let's pop that left leg out in front. Let's give everything a little bit of a wiggle. We're going to shuffle the legs forward a little bit. Make sure you've got some space behind you. We're going to come for a boat pose, just in case anybody falls backwards. So we're going to bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, grab on behind the knees, take a breath in, grow super tall. And on the exhale, let's let the toes lift off the floor, finding the balance. Keeping the spine strong, pulling both sides of the body together. Maybe you want to lift the legs to 90 degrees. That will introduce some extra challenge. And if you fancy it, you can stretch the arms out in front. Breathe in and exhale. Think about pulling the knees towards the chest and the chest towards the knees at the same time. Try to clamp the legs together. Breathe in and exhale. Take one more inhale. Now on the exhale, let's cross the legs underneath. Let's tip the torso forward, drop the hands on the mat, and let's step the feet back to our plank and lower it down. Your choice of how. Inhale it forward to our upward dog or cobra. And exhale, let's tuck the toes, lift the hips back up, downward dog. Take a breath in here. And on the exhale, let's come forward to sitting. And let's stretch the legs out in front again. So we're going to shuffle it forward. Make sure you've got space behind you. We're going to come to our lying position. So you're going to do some slightly different things in our lying spot today before we come to our back bends. So stretch the arms forward and exhale, float the body down. Take as much or as little time as you'd like to get there. But once you are there, have a wiggle. Make sure the back feels as comfortable as it can. And then we're going to bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to take one last little little leg stretch. So we're going to lift the right leg up, cross it across the left one so that the right ankle is just above the left knee. Take a breath in and lift that left leg in towards the center of the torso. You can hang on behind the knee. You can extend the left leg towards the ceiling, or if you've got the space, maybe you can hang on in front of the left shin. Whatever you hang on to and which variation you choose, it doesn't matter. Take an inhale and use the exhale to pull that left leg in ever so slightly closer to the chest. So we're accelerating the stretch in the bent leg at the side. Breathe in and exhale. You might find that you don't have space to pull the leg in any further. That's totally fine too. It's just about finding the point where you get a really decent stretch from this. Breathe in and exhale. Take one last inhale. And on the exhale, let's release the hands. Let the left leg lower down to the mat. Let's unhook the right one. And we're going to do the same thing opposite side. So we're going to lift the left leg up, cross it across the right one. So left ankle is just above right knee. And then let's inhale, pull that right leg in towards the chest. Whichever variation you took on the first side, attempt the same one here. So whether that's back of the knee, leg extended, or in front of the shin, go for it. Breathe in. And on the exhale, if you've got space, pulling that right leg in closer towards the chest. It might just be me, but the difference in sides in this position for me is absolutely huge. I don't have any space to pull the leg closer in on my right side, but I do have the space on the left. So if something similar is happening, don't worry about it. Take a breath in and an exhale. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, let's start to release that right leg back down. Let's unhook the left leg. And let's get ready for our back bend. So our usual bridge and wheel pose. Totally up to you which ones you take or in what order. If we're going with our bridge, you can drop the hands down beside the torso. Let the palms face up towards the ceiling. And on a breath in, lift the hips up towards the sky as well. So getting as much height as we can, and then maybe reaching the hands underneath the body, Interlacing the fingers together, rolling onto the shoulders a little bit. Think about pushing out through the knees down into the feet. It might gain a little bit of extra height. And if you fancy it while you're here, you can take any smaller variations that you want to, maybe lifting one leg off the floor and then the other. Maybe thinking about shuffling the feet in closer towards the bum or further away and getting a sense of how different the pose is in those two positions, or using the brick to support the sacrum and the lower back. Really, really nice. If you are using the brick, this is a great relaxation moment. You can just let the brick do the work while you have a bit of rest. Breathe in and exhale. Take one more breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to start to release all of this back down. So releasing the brick, upper back, middle back, lower back to the mat. And we'll windshield wiper the legs, so dropping the knees from one side to another. If you've accumulated some tension in the lower spine, which is totally possible, you can feel free to take any other movement you want to as well. If that means pulling the knees in towards the chest, go for it. Totally fine by me. And then we'll come back for our second back bend. So totally up to you if you want to take bridge again and just go a little bit further with it, or if you want to make an attempt at full wheel, absolutely your choice. Whichever you're going for, get into the correct position, make sure you feel pretty safe. And on the inhale, let's push into the hands or lift the hips into the air, depending on which one we're going for. Heidi, that's amazing. It's so much further than it's been before. Exhale, trying to hold the position. Breathe in. And exhale. Take one last inhale. And on the exhale, let's start to release everything back down, letting the body sink into the mat. Let's pull the knees in towards the chest, wrap the arms around the legs, give yourself a little hug, a little bit of gratitude for a body that gets you through so much effort, especially early in the morning. Maybe have a little rock from side to side or forward and back, your choice. And then we're going to drop the feet back down onto the mat, and we're going to take a really quick happy baby pose. So it's up to you how far you want to go with this also. But essentially, we're going to lift the legs off the floor, pull the feet in towards the body so that we can reach down with the hands and grab hold of the soles of the feet. Now take a breath in. And on the exhale, maybe opening the legs to the side, almost like you could straighten them. Your arms will prevent you from straightening them, but it will get you in a good position. And maybe you just want to rock a little bit from one side to another. Maybe you want to take the challenge and really start to extend through the happy baby, separating the legs and then pulling the knees in towards the armpits. Totally up to you how far you want to go. I like rocking a little bit from one side to another. If you are doing that, make sure that you don't fall too far to one side. Letting the heart rate come down. And then breathing, return back to something a little bit shallower. And then let's draw all of this back to center. Let's start to release the feet back towards the center of the body. And then let's release them back down to the mat, dropping the hands beside the torso. And let's get ready for our Shavasana or corpse pose. So totally up to you. You can keep the knees bent and tucked in towards one another if the lower back feels stiff. Otherwise, you can flatten the legs on the mat, point the toes towards the corners, really letting the hands fall, palms open towards the ceiling. Maybe roll the head along the mat, tucking the chin ever so slightly towards the chest. Take a big breath in. And use a long exhale to let everything in the body get super heavy against the mat. Notice how heavy the back of the head is against the floor. Maybe the backs of the arms, the elbows, the backs of the hands, the shoulders and hips, backs of the calves, and the heels. Almost be able to feel like the floor is rising up to meet you. Find a sense of security, letting everything get super heavy. Bringing the breathing to something that feels natural and light to you. Closing the eyes if they're not closed already. Bringing the body to a full resting position for a few short minutes. And start to bring a little bit of movement back into the fingers and toes. Maybe rotating the wrists and the ankles, maybe dropping the head from one side to another. And on an inhale, let's lift the arms up overhead. Take a big long stretch. Be mindful of any furniture. And exhale, pull the knees in towards the chest. Wrap the arms around the legs. Give yourself a little bit of a hug. Maybe rock a little bit from side to side if you wish. Then you can fall over to the side or you can rock forwards and backwards, but we'll all end up in the same position in our cross-leg start, sitting on the mat. We'll bring the hands to prayer, center of the chest. We'll inhale it up and exhale it down. Little thanks to everyone who joined us. Thanks, guys. Have a lovely rest of Wednesday.
Thank you.
I'm really enjoying how bright it is outside now when we start and finish this class.